Hi, my name is Casey. For this video, I want to reflect on my beliefs and experience from my first professional practice. The process of teaching is a continuous circle of learning, and reflective practice is crucial. I want to critically evaluate what I've learned from the AITSL teaching standard. I will use the See, Think, Wonder framework to reflect. First, what I see, my observations from practice and the theory. Next, what I think, my core beliefs and teaching philosophy. Finally, what I wonder, my questions, planned actions, and expected outcomes. At the end, I will outline my key goals from the upcoming placement. Let's begin. So standard 1 is know students and how they learn. I say that the classroom is a microcosm of society's diversity. My experience has been with unique individuals, not generic students. For example, I've worked with a Year 7 student on autism and a Year 10 Aboriginal student with gaps in written literacy. Students engage differently depending on their learning preferences. The diversity shows me that a one-size-fits-all approach inevitably leaves students behind. The most powerful response to this is differentiation, a proactive, student-centered approach that provides varied pathways for students to learn based on their readiness, interests, and learning preferences. I believe that teaching begins with empathy and curiosity. My philosophy is that every student has a story. It's my job to learn that story to build a bridge between their world and the curriculum. When a student feels understood, they are more willing to engage and take responsibility. For students from multicultural backgrounds, this means honoring their cultures and providing both windows into other cultures and mirrors so they can see themselves reflected in their learning. Knowing students is an essential starting point. I wonder how I can make knowing my student a more systematic part of my practice from the first day. Research by Jones highlights that using students' names regularly fosters belonging, improves engagement, and reduces behavior issues. I will document some student characteristics and talk about their interests by applying differentiation techniques to meet students' learning needs and leading a more inclusive and positive learning environment. The second standard is know the content and how to teach it. I observed that deep content knowledge is essential, but it's just halfway. The real skill is translating the knowledge into accessible and engaging experiences. This is called pedagogical content knowledge, the expert blending of what you teach with how you teach it. I will connect the classroom content to authentic scenario to enhance students' understanding, and I also will use some ICT teaching tools like Kahoot and digital whiteboard to get students' motivation and attention. I believe my role is to be a designer of learning, not just a delivery of content. This requires organizing the curriculum to a coherent, well-sequenced programs, embedding literacy and numeracy strategy, and using technology to expand learning opportunities. I wonder how I can embed more approaches to allow students to learn and demonstrate their understanding in diverse ways. For students who are struggling with written content or assessment, I will use multimedia like video and photos during the teaching session. Also, students can use photo, drawings, and video to submit their job. Standard 3 is plan and implementation. A powerful lesson in the NT workshop needs effective and well-organized planning. I experienced students who were confused about the next steps and then become disengaged and use tools or machines unsafely and incorrectly. This was a stark reminder that effective teaching isn't spontaneously. It's a result of meticulous, proactive planning with clear goals and well-sequenced activities. I believe that planning is an action of respect of students' time and energy. A lesson plan needs clear challenge goals, but must be flexible. The DNT workshop teaching experience teach me that planning must cover not just what of the content, but how of the classroom logistics to ensure clarity and safety. My goal is to design a coherent learning journey. I wonder how I can better structure practical lessons to maximize both safety and engagement. I would implement a workshop rotation model. A teacher-led demonstration, an independent construction session, and a group work session. This structure provides clarity, manages cognitive load, and allows me to give focused attention to smaller groups, ensuring safety protocols are followed and timely feedback can be given. Then next stand 4 is creating a safe and supportive environment. My experiences show that a safe environment has both physical and psychological dimension. The DNT workshop highlighted the need for physical safety, but the students with anxiety or sensory needs also require psychological safety to participate fully. A student's need for a psychological safe space is just as crucial as their need for personal protective equipment. I believe effective classroom management is not about control, but about co-creating a community built on clear routine and mutual respect. I must explicitly teach behavior expectations and the consequence of wrong or bad behaviors. My first responsibility is to ensure every student feels safe, supported, and respected, using positive relationships and restorative practices rather than the punitive measures. I wonder how I can best support an anxious student in a busy and practical lesson. I would create a safe participation plan. In lessons involving potentially hazardous tools or materials, I will include safety demonstration and then adherence to practicals to ensure a secure learning environment. This might start with some simple tasks with a trusted peer and besides active supervision and clear safety reinforcement to reduce accidents and improve students' focus, especially in hands-on technical learning environment. This aims to gradually build a student confidence and resilience so they can participate more fully over time. So move on to the standard 5 is about assessment and feedback. In a busy workshop, giving meaningful formative feedback to every student is a profound challenge. I learned that formative assessment isn't just a final grade. It's an ongoing process of gathering data to inform teaching and learning. Feedback between students and teachers can be used to modify teaching and learning activities. For feedback to be effective, it must be timely and specific. I believe formative assessment is more powerful than summative assessment. My goal is to use assessment as a diagnostic tool. Feedback should be feed-forward a dialogue that gives students clear, actionable steps for improvement. I wonder how I can make formative assessment more efficient and student-centered. Reflecting on my experience during woodwork elimination tasks, I provide immediate feedback to help students refine their techniques and encourage self-reflection. Black and Williams research demonstrates how formative assessment during the learning process boosts student performance and engagement. Real-time adjustments foster deep learning and improve outcomes in practical activities. Besides, I would implement peer and self-assessment strategies, such as using a clear instruction like 2-star and a wish template. In this way, students develop critical skills and learn to articulate feedback constructively. So next, standard 6 is engaging in professional learning. I found that constantly reflecting on my practice, seeking feedback, and adjusting lessons are important. This module that professional learning is not a one-off event, but a continuous circle. I believe that becoming a quality teacher is a career-long process of inquiry. I have a professional responsibility to view every lesson as an opportunity to learn. I will collaborate with my colleagues and participate in school-wide initiatives like STEAM Links group and professional development meetings. I regard after-school report clubs that I participated in my first prac also strengthen ties with my students, staff, and parents. During the next placement, I will maintain a weekly reflective journal aligned to the AITSL standards. I will analyze challenging lessons and share one key insight with my mentor and supervisor each week to gather their perspectives. This transforms reflection from a passive activity into an active tool for targeted, documented professional growth. Strong professional relationship and community engagement are essential for student success and teacher effectiveness. So finally, standard 7 is engaging professionally with the community. This standard highlights the immense weight of a teacher's professional and legal responsibilities, such as the professional codes of conduct and mandatory reporting. A teacher's duty of care extends far beyond the curriculum. Building respectful relationship with parents is also crucial for students' well-being. I believe teaching is a profession built on trust and ethical conduct. Students' well-being and safety are always a priority, which means it's significant to maintain professional boundaries and establish respectful, collaborative relationship with students, colleagues, and parents. I wonder how I would navigate a serious ethical dilemma, such as a student making a disclosure of harm but asking for secrecy. My immediate action would be to follow my mandatory reporting obligations. I will listen empathetically but explain gently and clearly that my job is to keep students safe, and that means I must speak to someone who can help. Like a school leader, I would then immediately report this concern. This action holds me ethical and legal duties, ensuring the students' safety. Reflecting on this standard, my specific goal for next placement are to implement a workshop routine supported by clear feedback strategy, using student learning data to identify and respond to individual needs, evaluate teaching progress through observation of students' engagement, and a personal log of formative assessment, build strong rapport with students to enhance learning outcomes, build connection with a wider community, including the student, colleague, and parents. Here is a reference list. Thank you for your listening.